natal Venus back into Leo. Oh no, then but Uranus, in the meantime, by progressions, Uranus has moved forward enough to 2016 to conjunct Uranus. Uranus has moved forward to conjunct Uranus. Okay, changing her way of thinking. That's 2016. That's when she came to see me the first time. That lit her up. Then, at the same time, with her Mercury, it was going back and forth over it retrograded back, came back forward. So it's been back and forth over the Uranus. So she's had a relationship to this free thinking, independent thinking, but may not have followed as much as she could have. But it certainly was like the Venus went into Leo. I want to do something I like, I'm proud of. But then Uranus, my mind's changing. It's changing my option. I'm thinking differently. It's clearing up. So that conjunction, that's no small thing. That's something that goes on for years before and years after. Uranus doesn't move very fast. It's there for 10, 20 years before it'll move more than a degree away from that. But this is the exact point. Then that Mercury got changed. This is all the planets, right? The moon and all the progressions. So you're seeing them all at once. Then by 2017, Mercury opposes the IC. So here we looked at the graphs of them. This gives you the exact one of how they mix. And you got to be able to think of them separately to see what they're doing, and then they come together here. So Uranus Mercury opposes the IC. So her mind's changed. It's affecting her motivation. She's thinking about where am I coming from? What am I doing deep down in her chart? Mercury's on the IC in 2017. She starts astrology. No small thing. 2018, Mercury square Saturn, she's working through that. By 2018, November, last year, progressed Venus went stationary direct at 29:52 minutes of Leo. So her Venus only went retrograded back to 29:52 minutes of Leo. It just was in Leo 8 minutes of a degree. 8 minutes of a degree. And then it went direct. Okay, but that 8 minutes took the Venus at 2016 to 2018, that's 4 years to do 8 minutes of a degree when it's slowing down like that. And then it doesn't go out of Leo, it goes back into Virgo in 2021 in July. So that's 3 more years. So 7 years, Mercury's within Venus, the progressed Venus is within 8 minutes of a degree. Really tiny, but it's a very powerful, it's the only time her Venus has been in Leo. What do I want? What do I want to play with? Her visions, what she wants, are going to be aligned to her sun and her purpose more than any other time in her life. Where usually she's dealing with having to prove that she can take care of what's needed from the moon. Take care of family, they need this, and dealing with everybody's needs. I'm doing everything to take care of everyone's needs. And from that, she felt she belonged. She was dedicated, and she did it. But it's changing now. Her values are changing. They're going forward. So while she was studying the astrology classes, her way of thinking has changed, her emotions have turned direct, it's set things in motion very differently. And then there's December 18th, as soon as it started to turn around, that's the progressive ascendant, because that's the ascendant, progressive ascendant moves very fast. So like when you look at it moving the whole 361 degrees, so that's not as strong an aspect, but it would have triggered off because in the transits, you had the Pluto hitting the ascendant at the same time. So it would have been that December 2018, it was a critical time too. So then the same with the ascendant, Mars, that's just little triggers. But here you have the progressed sun opposing the IC. So by 2019, this is August, the exact date, August 23rd, her progressed sun is right on the IC. Exactly on the IC. So her Mercury was there, gone over it. Now the sun's coming to that. She's had the mind and thought about what her motivation is. She changed her way of thinking, and her sun's coming up there to make it important and powerful. She's got her confidence coming in around the deepest point within herself, which she's not going to doubt about herself anymore. She knows her inner thing. She's not sure how it fits the outside, but she's got inner support or inner insights here. There's a very profound thing in a lifetime. Not everybody gets it of the sun, but when someone has their sun in that first quadrant, or sometimes in the 12th house, it does reach down and reach that IC. Usually later in life, if someone's in the 3rd house, it happens when you're younger. But we grow into progressions. You don't really see them that much when you're younger. They're there, but you can see the shifts across a lifetime. So this is profound inner depth and profound inner changes happening over these 2 years against the background of outer challenges and confrontations. It's not going the way I thought it would always go. It's not always going to be like, I mean, I have to rely on myself. But if ever those things had to happen, and wouldn't it be wonderful to have such things happening as the sun to be on your IC and your inner spirit waking up at the same time as the outer challenges were coming? Whatever age it happens at. Everybody comes to see me when there's a problem. It shouldn't happen to me at this age. I'll have a 16-year-old coming to me. It shouldn't happen this way. I'll have someone 30. It shouldn't happen to me now. Someone 50. Oh, I shouldn't have to deal with this now. Someone 70. I shouldn't have to deal with this now. We always think that. That's the ego. But here you are. But we see a lot of inner depth, a lot of great inner depth coming out of those outer situations. But it's the opposite direction of the Saturn moving up to the midheaven. So we see the Saturn moving up to midheaven. She's going to be more active out in the world. But on what terms? It's not going to be the same things outwardly. It's changed. So she's going to build up another career, most likely. By 2020, by next September, Mercury goes into Leo. Her progressed Mercury has turned around and is going into Leo. Is that right? Let me just go back to this again. Mercury's been in Leo this whole time. What's this? What is this? Where's Mercury? No, it's not going to Leo. It's conjunct the node. Okay, in Libra, that's okay. It's in Libra, conjunct the node. Yeah, there it says it right on the side. Okay, my eyes. Okay, then 2021 February, it's opposing the Mercury, changing the thinking about home, around the past, a struggle between the past and the future. So if she's into astrology, the old business people want me saying, what are you into that stuff for? And she may have the explanations why you should be using me. I'm imagining that. I don't know. That's just one play that can come through this. But this is going forward, and by 2021, by September, Venus goes back into Virgo. So this is our one time to value Gloria, value what she wants, and for Venus to really reinforce her sun. Then she's going to go back and it's going to reinforce her mind, the Virgo. But the mind has already changed by having gone through, it's gone through its changes too. It's direct, it's going forward. Her mind is already, it started being conjunct Venus. So it's not going back to where it was. She's already thinking, once you start thinking differently, how do you go back? But by the transit, Saturn will be above, it'll be past the opposition to the sun. And then it'll start flowing for her. She'll see what she's going to work at, and she'll start getting more attention for what she wants. Excuse me. This was, the progressed to progressed. I do a printout for the 10 years for progressed to progressed too. Mostly, sometimes an aspect will stand out in the progressions. If there's like, here's the Mercury to Saturn, you might want to see when the Mercury, that was in 2017, Mercury square Saturn. But in progressions, in the progress to the natal, I don't know if it'll even be on here. Oh yeah, 2018. So her progressed, that's why I put it in. In 2017, her progressed Mercury hit the progressed Saturn. Her Saturn's retrograding. You're born with Saturn retrograde, it's retrograding. So her progressed Mercury will hit the Saturn first, and then 17, and then when it hit progressed Saturn, or you're done 2018, 6 months later, progressed Sun hits the progressed Mercury will hit the natal chart Saturn. So there's a whole period, that phase, but sometimes it hits the progressed Saturn first. So if it went retrograde, then it hits the natal Saturn. That whole time period is the whole period of Mercury to Saturn. This is for studying with the astrology, figuring things out and trying to decide what she's doing. But sometimes it hits Saturn first, and then it'll go on for a while till it hits where Saturn progressed to. So if it's Mars, it can be a lot longer period. Mercury's moving pretty fast here, so that's only 6 months. Sometimes these differences of the 1 or 2 degrees can make a difference of 8 years, 10 years dealing with this. Okay. If a planet's retrograding, it's kind of close to mass, it can be 20, 30 years. So I just brought it in to point it out like that. with the progressions. In 2020, you progressed Sun square Saturn, 2020, October. And in I didn't go forward enough. It'll be in 2022, the progressed Sun will square the Saturn. So, okay, so that's just a phenomena going on I wanted to point out. 2024, the progressed Sun moves long as in Libra. I went into Libra. Did I mark it in here? Oh yeah, okay, so the progressed. It's in Libra, then the moon comes up and catches up to it. And in 2028, there was the new moon eclipse, the sun, the moon, and the nodes all there. Okay, so that's the, okay, we're already a little bit late. I'll take another 10, 15 minutes, sorry. Life is so, it has such a texture. And you don't have to say, oh, it's this, it's that. You anticipate, you wonder about things. But so I build up the caricature, I build up what I think is happening on that. And I can be right off track with the specific things, but I'm not off track with the aspects and things going on. As soon as I start talking person, it's a very short time. You say, oh, it's that. Then, well, if that happened, then it adjusts and aligns, and it's like you're fine tuning your guitar or your instrument. It was just a little off. Oh, there it is. Okay, then you find what it is. Oh, now we're on top. Then you can really communicate exactly around things that can relate to people going on, how you're dealing with things. It gets into the really magic of astrology. Okay, now, okay. So what I took was a progressed Sun. And this is, I did the progressed Sun. This is 2014 for the same 10 years that I did we had the progress sheet of all the planets for 10 years. Here, I'm just taking the progressed Sun for the 10 years. This is on the RASA Insight, RASA Light program, which is just gives you the pentagram, gives you the pentens, and the hexagram numbers for the lines. It gives you the hexagrams. So this puts it for 10 years. And as we're going along here, in 2019, the progressed Sun conjunct the IC. We knew it was down there. We didn't have it on the graph exactly dated. I should have had, but here it is, confirmed July 25th, 2019. Just now, the finishing of her classes. Her progressed Sun's on the IC, opposing the midheaven. Huge. That's a 29 Virgo. Okay, so it's not, so Mercury's been over there, Venus doesn't get there. Mercury's been over there, but the Sun is right there. Saturn's past the Saturn return and moving above. So she's starting a new cycle. It's about to go into Libra, which is that Venus quality is there, but it's still in Virgo right now. Goes in Libra in December 24th. We had other things tied up to the last of the difficult aspects were tied up to this to Saturn. Saturn was the last of the aspects that came up to December. So in December, it changes from Virgo to Libra. What do I want? Goes into, I need about relationship. A lot of people pick up something artistic as the Venus comes in for the progressed Sun, or at least doing something they want. It changes the focus from busyness, Virgo, but the motivation is still in Virgo. It's around her ideas. Her regressed Sun hitting that IC is a very profound, deep time. Her Venus is just starting to go direct. Her Sun's on the IC. One of the more spiritual times in a lifetime. One of the most profoundly deep assessments is when your Sun is crossing the angle. Not everybody gets it going on. Some people get the challenges around relationships. Some people, the challenges will be out in the world on the midheaven or with a parent. Or on the ascendant, the identity. This is about where she's coming from. This is primal. And she's been working, understanding her chart to get to this point. That's a really useful thing so like the inner world is waking up and blossoming as she's studying astrology. There's very profound changes here, profound depth going on. So I want to go through the hexagrams that these are in, and we'll read through them. But before I get to this, it's just, that's a primal thing, one of the main turning points inwardly in a lifetime. The second ones I did here, let's say there's the Sun. Then I did the Venus, to see the Venus, marked it up, and over here,